When it comes to reading and understanding the Bible, one of my Bible school professors loved to say, context is king. There's a story told about 4 blind men who each tried to describe an elephant. The first man went up and touched only the side of the elephant, so he described it as a smooth and solid wall. The second man touched the elephant's trunk and described it as a giant snake. The third blind man touched the elephant's tusk and concluded that an elephant was like a sharp spear. And the last blind man touched only the tail of the elephant and decided an elephant was nothing more than a piece of old rope. You see, each of the men only experienced a part of the whole, and they simply interpreted what an elephant was like based upon their limited experience. Their limited context determined their understanding. The same is true when we approach a passage of Scripture. In order for us to rightly discern the meaning, we must zoom out to see the broader context that it makes up and how it fits into the whole. We must first learn the context. And there are 2 contexts to understand. The first one is the historical context, and the second is literary context. So, the historical context, it includes answering questions like, who wrote it? When was it written? Who was the author writing to? What was going on at that time period and in that particular part of the world? What was the author experiencing? What was the audience experiencing at the time? What was their culture like? What was the occasion or the purpose of the writing? And then, trying to understand the literary context, we ask questions like this. What style or genre of writing is this? How is that style of writing meant to be read and understood? How would the original audience have read and understood and applied the writing? How does this passage fit into the broader context of the paragraph, the chapter, the book, and the entire Bible as a whole? Now, these are great questions, but where do you even begin to get answers to those questions? Well, there are several tools that can help you answer these questions. Let me give you a few to start with today. Here are some tools to study the Bible. First, an accurate and readable translation of the Bible. You see, the original texts of the Bible were written in Hebrew and Greek and Aramaic. So, unless you read those languages, you are dependent on a good English translation. There are too many translations to name, each with a little bit different slant and wording. Some are made to be more readable, while others are designed to be more literal, a word-for-word equivalent translation from the original languages. For example, the New American Standard Bible is a closer word-for-word translation, but its wooden language makes it really hard to understand and to read. Whereas the New International Version, which is what I preach from most often, it takes a little more liberty with the word order and word choice in order to make it more readable for the average audience, yet still preserving the original meaning and intent of the biblical authors. Here's what I would suggest. Use a combination of good translations. I think that's the best practice. With the Bible app on your phone or with one of the many Bible websites now you can access on your computer, these translations are literally at your fingertips. You can read a passage of Scripture in a few different translations in order to arrive at a consensus for the best reading of the passage. Here's a second tool that you can use, a good study Bible. You see, a study Bible is a Bible that has commentary and explanation about the context and the meaning of the verses actually built into the pages of the Bible. For instance, most study Bibles have the verses at the top of the page and the commentary to those verses at the bottom of the pages. So for me, the first decade of my Christian life, a study Bible was one of the only resources I had, and it proved to be the most valuable. I fell in love with reading the Bible because I actually started to understand what I read because of the helpful commentary in each page. And in addition, most study Bibles include helpful articles and introductions to each book of the Bible that tells you the historical, cultural, and literary context of each book. So if you only get one resource, get a good study Bible. Here's a third tool for you. commentaries, and a Bible dictionary. A commentary is similar to what you would get with a study Bible, but usually it provides more content and in more depth. Commentaries are usually printed in volumes with a separate commentary book written for each book of the Bible. Just like versions of the Bible differ, so too do different versions of commentaries. Some commentaries are written for preachers to help with preparing a sermon, or some for scholars who are looking to write a research paper, and some commentaries are written just for the average Christian, simply to help with their understanding and application of the Bible. A Bible dictionary is also helpful. It helps you to look up specific words and phrases alphabetically. Each word then usually has anywhere between a paragraph to a few pages written about it that helps you better understand its context and meaning. Here's a fourth tool for you: online resources. Nowadays, many Bible study resources can be accessed online and for free. There are online commentaries and dictionaries, videos, sermons, articles, papers, and even full books that you can read. But not all are equal. Make sure that when you are accessing a commentary or a resource online, that it's reputable and credible and not just some person's opinion. A few good online resources might include Bible.com, BlueLetterBible.org, and BibleGateway.com. Each of those have videos or resources or commentaries or dictionaries that you can access for free, and some even a paid subscription. Now, if you want to truly understand the Bible, you will get out the work that you put in. Spiritual growth takes time and effort, but let me tell you, it is so worth it. What I found is that the effort I put into reading and studying the Bible for myself only served to increase my appetite for reading the Bible more. And my hope is that the same thing happens for you too.